This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Back at it, Patrick Gayle show 24 here with us, Coach Gayle and myself. Is this the fall season? It's coming fast and furious. My yard's filled with leaves, Coach. I'm going to kill the grass one more time before the season starts because I don't do grass because I'm allergic to grass and I ain't at home like that. So we got to kill that junk, Coach.
Gotta take care of the yard. Gotta take care of the yard. How you doing, JR?
Coach, I am today. I was questionable, but I'm here, Coach. I was questionable.
You're listed as questionable, but you got your gear on.
Yes, sir, Coach. Just remind me, don't eat any certain fried chicken places that ain't sponsoring the show. With a kids meal, there's a kids meal, Coach. A kids, not a fool. Kids meal got me.
Hey, we're looking for any sponsor, that has clean food to step up and contact us.
Yes.
So we can spread the word, especially with Black men eating clean and taking care of their bodies. Can't tell our players to do that, and we're not doing that, right?
Coach, I told you off the air, man, I do portion control. I don't even eat full meals.
That's awesome.
I do portion control, That's something I learned from my father. Well, my father was a diabetic, so he had to do that. But I learned it from my father.
That's awesome.
That you don't
That's
have to
awesome.
eat everything to fill you up. Him and the diabetic taught me the portion control. So that's what I practice as an adult. Portion control. I don't eat full meals.
And do you also intermittent fast?
Yes, as well. Yes, I do.
That's awesome. Well,
Coach, it's the one morning I didn't do my walk because I'm under the weather.
well, the day is young, JR. The day is young.
Yes. So yeah, Coach, I do like my dad taught, just being around my father, I don't mind doing zero sugar stuff or reduced sugar stuff. So I'm not getting all the sugar intake most people get. Like, I have a friend that loves slushies at Sonic, right? I get me a small one, they get them a large one. The small works for me. So I've mastered from my father's teachings, able just to deal with less is more.
Less is more. That's right. Especially as you get older.
Yes. So
puts less stress on your body to digest.
Yes, and drink your water too. Drink your water. Yes. Exercise. Do these things because I know too many of us black men don't go to the doctor, and then we've passed out and died, and it's like, what happened?
That's true. That's so true. That's so true.
That's the thing about it. And I know our elders didn't mean to be that. They ain't trust doctors back then.
Right.
Or they'll say, I just got a little touch of the other sugar. That's diabetes. Ain't a little touch. That's diabetes. I got a little that pressures. You know how our elders talk. Nah, that's serious. It's a silent killer.
Yeah, that's true. That's
so
true.
Educating yourself on medicine and medical and how to eat holistically and with doing it their way as well. You just have to kind of just balance it all together. But it's mainly how you eat, portion control, what you put in your body. That's your fuel. Like a car, that's your fuel.
You dropping some gems.
And
dropping gems,
the fuel I took last night was bad for me.
But you know what? It's also your body purging that stuff because it's used to good stuff. So it's like, what is this? Let's get rid of that real quick. Yeah, because
Coach, I love to eat Mediterranean food. I love to give me a gyro mixed platter and with the rice and tabbouleh and the pita bread. And that can fill me up the whole day. I don't have to do that.
That's a good diet too, man. Very good diet.
So now you just have to find things.
And you forgot about stress. Stress is a silent killer, right?
It is, but I ain't, Coach. You know how I am. I don't get stressed out.
You don't get stressed,
Coach. You
may make people stressed, but you don't get stressed.
Coach, I get off my chest. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah.
So I don't hold nothing in. I just say it and live with the result.
Well, life is too short to worry about what anybody does or says, and especially external factors that you can't control. You can only control internal factors, which you do. So that's very true. That's very true. You
said a word because my mama told you, my dad talked about this CTC, control the
control of controllables. That's right.
So that's why I tend not to get mad at stuff because I don't control more. I control my attitude, how I react to it.
And those who laugh more and those who have more fun and those who are more positive, those who are spiritually grounded, those who, give credit and give energy to their creator, they live longer. Even if something happens that doesn't, that's beyond their control externally, they have a legacy that people, remember, a lot more people remember them by their energy and what they give out. So that's very true.
That's all about energy, man. Like I say, I believe in karma. I believe in the universe. I believe in all that stuff, man. So what you put out is what you give back. Now,
absolutely.
People may tell me I got some karma coming my way. No, I just react to stuff. I'm never the first puncher. I'm the counter puncher.
Counter punch?
Yes.
You like the counter punch?
So if I joke on you, because you probably joked on me, it does something to me. I don't just go out of my way to clown people or to make fun of people.
But you know what's funny, JR? I'm different. I'm the person that I'm the observer, and especially as I've gotten to this age, I've learned to say less because people are gonna. I saw something where it says a clown will only perform if he gets attention. So I don't give clowns attention. I don't say anything. I pray for you. I pray for others. I pray for the people around me. I take a lot of responsibility, for the energy that I give out. But I've learned to not even counter. I won't let you hit me though, but I ain't gonna hit you because that's what I was. When you read the Bible and you understand the parables and you understand where your power comes from, when you understand our connection to the universe, the most important thing in nature are trees, and trees do a lot where underground. You don't see what they do. They do a lot that you don't see, but you feel. You know when a tree is there, when a tree is not there. So you don't have to do anything. You just allow nature to take its own course because a clown gonna be a clown regardless. Someone that has power is gonna show their power. They don't have to do or say much. They just show it. They walk around with that presence.
I'm saying word that coach yesterday in my yard, the trees like I have a gravel driveway, right? So the roots are coming up in through my gravel driveway.
There you go.
So
There you go.
and I'm seeing that wild mushroom having to kick out of the ground. So yeah, I'm seeing it with my oak tree that it's coming through. I'm about to go to the rock quarry, some more rocks to put over it because it's coming through my rock driveway. And coach, that's another word because you said something that's I want to get to it today because it's kind of funny anyway. So I was on two radio shows this past weekend, and they got mad at me because I refused to expose to them my process or answer to them what I have coming up next in my career, or trying to tell us. And Mike Thomas said to me yesterday, if I told y'all to go into the hot dog, you wouldn't like it. So it comes up about my father again, coach. Like, when I go on a radio show, I have competitors listening to that show. I have people who envy me, who want to be like me, listen to that show. So why would I go behind the scenes and give you the secret sauce to what I do on your platform? I don't do it on my platform. And furthermore, I'm not one of people who tries to. You see when it's done. Look at my social media. I don't broadcast what I have coming down the pike for a reason. That's not my thing. I want you to be in the moment about what we're talking about, not because also, coach, I don't like to discuss myself either. I'm not one of those egotistical guys. I'm not narcissist like some people are. I don't want to discuss myself. And furthermore, my dad taught me this from being in West Side of Atlanta. Real G's move in silence.
Silence.
On the left, know what your right hand is doing. So, no, I'm not gonna tell you on your show what my process is. I want you to know what that is. I don't need you to know what next for me. You'll see when I show it. So they were offended, coach, because I wouldn't reveal to them what I got going on. I don't roll that way, coach. I don't like to talk about myself. If you want to know about me, read my articles in Voyage Atlanta. That's all I'm gonna give you. If you don't see it there, I ain't telling you no more than that. So,
well, not only that, you said it on this show. I've asked you that question, and you said you're not going to tell what your next move is. You said it on this show. You corrected me. So they obviously need to watch the show, JR.
So many show, coach, I forget. I'm serious, coach. I told you that even. But yeah.
You're a busy man, I know.
But they got mad talking about, I said, well, fine, if you're so mad about it, I'll leave.
Oh, they got that upset about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because coach, I just don't roll. I don't like to discuss myself.
That's what works for you. That's your process. And it shouldn't be anything where anybody gets upset about that because everybody's different. Everybody's different.
Yeah, coach, because coach, I roll my eyes at people in my profession, your profession, who be on social media bragging about stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like, coach, I don't talk about stuff I do in private. There are a lot of things I do that I could really on the air bragging about that I do would give me some good PR points. But I don't talk about those things. My dad said just do the work.
Just do the work. That's right.
You don't need he said he will say, Amun Ra will bless you for the work you do, son.
That's right.
My dad would say to me, hey, folks, Amun Ra means God. Okay, that's African tradition. That's what my dad was. That means God. For y'all who don't know what that means. So yes, Amun Ra will bless you for just doing the work.
Yeah.
And putting that energy into the world. So I don't brag about who I mentor or what teams I talk to or who came by, who I went to go see. I just go do it. You may find out after the fact. You may see me on somebody's bench, higher or lower, depending on who it is. you know, but you wouldn't know about that. I'm not gonna be on. I'm going to see insert blah blah blah. I was with blah or let's take a picture and post it. That's not who I am. I just
You know what's funny? It's actually cool finding out who you interview and what you do, what you're doing. You know, following you and watching you, and then like you said, you brought up that article you did recently. That it was cool learning about you, man. You're the Renaissance man, man. And what's the biggest thing that's cool about you, man? You're independent. Like that's a lot of young people I hope are watching you. And like you said, but see what I love is that you're allowing people to find their own process. You know, you're telling them just enough so that they can find their own. They got to find their own process. And there's nothing wrong with that.
no, because my approach ain't everybody's approach. Because
Exactly.
I'm at a point in my career where I hate to say these words, coach. I don't care anymore about certain things.
Right.
I was like, whatever. I'll let it go. I'll let it ride. But if you're a young guy or girl in the business, you might need to push back more and fight more.
Right.
But I'm at the point I don't care anymore. Either you are or you're not.
You know what's funny? And that's where I am in my career too. That's exactly how I feel. I really don't care what anybody has to say or do. You know, you can pray from in the distance, you can love in the distance. You know, you'll never hear me talk about privately, publicly, whatever. And JR, you can attest to this. I don't talk about anybody, you know, because that's not who I am. And I feel that anybody that has to bring up somebody's name in a negative light, they're only exposing themselves. They're only projecting what they feel about themselves. You know, so if you're secure in who you are, then you can support. You don't have to put down. You don't have to say harsh things about somebody if you're secure in who you are. You know, and you know, I had to get on my team this morning about that, just supporting each other. You know, what turned into basketball skill work turned into track because we allowed adversity to get not the whole team, but get a couple of guys to be a little bit too negative or too much. Hey, let me do it. No. It's a team thing. So you may have to just take a step back to help your team. You may have to be the one to encourage to help your team. You may have to be the one to do to help your team. You may have to be the one to teach to help your team. You know, and in time and place, you may have to address something, not then on the court, but in the locker room. But what I will say is that I love the young people I'm around because what I'm finding out is that young people that really want to learn and grow can be so much more better to be around than, you know, people our age or older. And I just love my coaching staff and I love my team because every day they make me even more convicted to say that, you know what, we're doing the right things the right way. And you're supposed to have adversity. Preseason conditioning is supposed to expose certain things now, but I love the way we're responding.
Said a word there, man, because like, you know, my delivery is not always pristine when I feel a certain way about certain things, but I'm not gonna get into it too deeply. But Saturday, I said some things to a group of guys that I had to say to them for a reason, because I'm tired of people being fake with them and saying certain things about them rather than help them out. So yes, I said to a certain group of guys, F their coach and F their coaches, some of their staff don't care about them because they only care about themselves, coach. And we're brothers. But after this, whoever this coach is and his cronies leave, you're still a part of the brotherhood that we're a part of.
That's right.
And you see an example of 39 guys who rock with each other 20 years later.
That's right.
It's very few of my brothers who I don't get along with. One of them I really can't stand, and he know who he is. I won't get into it, Coach. You know what I'm talking about. So, but most of them, I get along with my brothers, But it's like, think about that. We show up deep tailgates. You know what I'm saying, man? As brothers, you know what I'm saying? Felt the urges again as brothers. I want to see an example that, hey, we went through some crap. I mean, shoot, a lot of crap, to be honest with you, excuse my language. But we got through it. We're family men. I don't got any kids myself like that, but they do. They got wives, girlfriends, woo, businesses. Also, we got through it. So, like, but the thing about bonds, we're brothers in this brotherhood, this fraternity that we're a part of. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to say to the people out there listening is this: it don't matter who your coach or whoever it is. It's about who you with. You with each other for a few years at a time, and it goes away, and it hits you. Being at the Titan game, it hit us. You know what I'm saying? Seeing me on the field, like being on that field, it hits you, man. So it's like, man, like I'm just happy that my brothers and I could show them what true brotherhood really is. Because think about it, how rare is it that the 20s later, 39 dudes, they're pretty much still tight.
Still tight. That says a lot.
In this world, Coach, in this world we in.
Yeah, that says a lot. And it's funny because I tell my team every year that you should be more. I always say, I don't care if you like me. I actually would prefer if you don't like me, because I want you to play for each other, not for me. I've never made any season or any team about me. And it's good to hear from former players and to just see, because I go to a lot of, as I've said in the past, weddings. Unfortunately, I've been to funerals, and to see the teammates that have played with each other and to see that bond, that's really what the experience is, man. That's that, to see student athletes, young student athletes turn into fathers, turn into husbands, turn into, teachers, businessmen. That's cool to see that growth and progression. And like you said, we're only with them for at max 4 years. With COVID, 5 maybe now, because you got these super seniors. But the point is, you're with your teammates and your brothers, like they're with you. When things get bad after, nobody talks about, JR, and let's talk about this a little bit. What happens after you leave school, graduate, and you're done playing? There's no opportunity so much, or maybe there's an opportunity, but it's not big enough for you to take advantage of, and you got to get in this real world. And that's a conversation I had with my guys this morning, that you guys think that you're going through tough times now because of basketball and because of financial aid or because of classes. Try having to go into the real world and have families to take care of. Try having to go into the real world and working in a environment or working for some people, like you said, that don't care about you. Because you're gonna have coaches and bosses that don't care about you. The bottom line is they gotta succeed for them to take care of their families. So they're not gonna care about you. They gotta care about their families. How do you react, and how do you perform, and how do you succeed, and how do you give your purpose that the Lord created you to give into the world? Those conversations need to be had with young people. JR.
Like I told you, after my career, I didn't have a plan. I kind of stumbled into this plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens that way. Like, it's very, very troubling when you don't have this safety net of sports anymore. You have to decide what's your next move. It's because it's not something you think about in the moment. You just think about, I'm gonna go to the league, woo, blah blah blah. It don't happen. Yeah, what do I do now? That's a real conversation. And just thankfully that I had something, which is good, but everybody's not like that. Some of my guys had kids and stuff for that, and they had to figure out how to get their kids. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's like, it's incumbent on our universities to help people with a succession plan after this ends. And that's not talked about at all, Coach. And it's sad to say that even coaches don't discuss it with their players enough. They just in the moment too much, and we get wrapped up in wins and losses. But not, well, what about us winning and losing in life? That's something my dad, even as my dad said, I'll even help the sorriest player I had. He can help me, but I'll still help the young.
Well, I'm gonna say something that's gonna blow your mind, JR. The older I've gotten, the more I've respected coaches that have a better person record than winning record on the court or on the field, whatever sport. But what I'm saying is your legacy, the people that have played for them, and to see and to hear them, you know, because now let's talk about coaches that do care about their players. Sometimes it's going to be to a detriment. If you care about somebody else, you're going to somewhat sacrifice you. And I've seen coaches sacrifice their resumes, sacrifice their personal careers for others. And in the moment, the people they've done it for have not reciprocated that. But years down the line, because the people they've done it for have gotten into the real world and have succeeded, they can only go back and thank their coach or teacher. Let's talk about teachers that have, classes that may not make the scores or the grades, that the state, gives, but you see teachers literally save lives. If you're old enough, you can recognize it in real time, but you're not going to see it until 4, 5, 10 years down the line. You have people that invest money in, accounts and interest-bearing accounts and stocks, but you also have people that invest in people that produce families and communities thanks to those sacrifices. So I want to shout out those coaches that have sacrificed. A lot of times people say, fire this coach, fire that coach. He's been there too long. And have no idea what community he has built being there. And you have no idea. Like, to me, basketball is about you put the ball in the basket, but life is so much more than that. And sometimes one is going to sacrifice. You may have a player that, you may have to take basketball away from that player. Because if you don't do it now, when basketball is taken away in the future, that player, because he feels like all he has is that basketball, is going to do some things that's going to be a detriment to him or his family. So you have to go and fight him now so that later he can understand. And 10 times out of 10, that player, no matter what situation he's in, he understands. So I want to shout out all the real coaches out there that care more about their players than their records. And it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. That's why I'm shouting them out. It's very hard to do.
Tailgate, coach. I ran into some of my former coaches at the tailgate. We had a laugh and talk. We had some battles with each other, but talked to Coach Williams and Coach Moore, out there tailgating. It's funny how we came full circle. We out here having blue martinis together out there in the parking lot together, man. But those guys was hard on me, and they knew I could do certain things and wanted me to, reach my goals academically. And because coach, I ain't gonna sit up here and lie to you. I preferred athletics over academics. I just did. I didn't try.
Here's the crazy thing, JR. I never mentioned academics in what I just said.
No.
Because honestly, what's more important is how to be successful when you don't want to go to class, when you don't want to learn what you're learning. How to be successful. Like what you're doing now, a lot of what prepared you was just doing it, an experience, but it's the process. So now let's talk about what do you always tell me, JR, your schedule was 5 a.m. You got an early start. Mm-hmm. You had to go through all those things. Now you see why you went through that.
Yeah.
We started the show about taking care of your body. So none of that's in the classroom. That's a lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah, coach, you're right. That's why I get up early to do my walks, because I'm used to that.
That's right.
And my dad was an early riser too.
That's right.
So I love my mother, people, but I'm literally like a copy of my father. Just being honest. I'm a carbon copy of my father. For those who don't
You know,
understand it about me, like
I've always been raised to not look at celebrities or sports figures because the neighborhood I grew up in, you have fathers, you have mothers that they worked, but more importantly, they loved their families. They took care of their families. And I was taught to celebrate that and not celebrate people that played, sports on TV or entertained because it's hard to take care of a family and you go into, work every day and you doing it for the love of your family. Not just doing it and saying I hate it, but doing it saying thank God I have this to take care of my family. And we don't recognize people that do that every day. People that teach their children how to be spiritually grounded, teach their children how to have high integrity, teach their children not to bully, but to support, to help those that can't help themselves. We don't talk about that enough.
Coach, Coach, and I'm just I'm gonna say this out loud. My dad never had a Torah, Quran, or Bible. He said he taught me what, but he taught me right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? My dad said, I don't need that to teach you right from wrong, son. You as a human being know the difference between right and wrong. You can get a feel for what's right and what's wrong as a human being. So my dad never did it with me. He always talked to me in a sense of life and reality. Not saying it ain't reality, but I'm saying how my dad taught me, man. So that's why when I deliver to people, it's always like my dad was always about experiences and examples and how to this happened, do this. If you see this dude trying to shice you over, you do this. You know what I'm saying? My dad always gave me life experiences to come overcome stuff, man. And that's why, I do it with young men today. Like I ain't said I know everything, but I have a lot of answers to the test. Been around my dad and the Panthers, man. Like I got the guy pretty good quality answers to the test. we take it called life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't
Right.
impart that on young men. Now I'm saying, Coach, I'll say it again. My delivery ain't sometimes the most clean and pristine, but the point is still being made for a reason,
Well, with what just recently happened in your field with somebody retiring recently, um, a lot of people look at the head coach of a program, but there's so many people that's involved in that program, not just the assistant coaches, not just the training, the athletic trainers, not just the school administration, not just the managers. There's so many people involved to help that program that are unheralded, that don't get any credit, but are there consistently every day, that sweep the court, that set up the clocks, that put the water out, that'll wipe up the floor after a player falls down. That's sometimes they're just lending ear, and mentorship to a player to help them mentally and emotionally and psychologically get through the day. We want to make sure that we let everybody know that they are valuable and they are special and important in whatever role they may have. You don't have to be the head coach. You don't have to be the star player, to be the reason why your team is successful, and we're not talking about sports team. We're talking about life, talking about your family, talking about your community. Election time's coming up, but we don't talk about the local politicians and the volunteers and the people that are, in the streets, in the courthouses, in making sure that their community is better. They don't have a name because we don't look at them. We look at all these big names, but what makes a government? The people. So, and in other countries, risking their lives to better their communities and to better their areas, So we just want to make sure that people understand, man, that when things are successful and you're a part of it, take pride in that. And don't think that the credit needs to come to, you, like you said, JR. You don't need to see how the dish is being made. Behind the scenes, people matter just as much.
Wrap it up here. Patrick Gayle Show 24. We in there. We'll come
Elite
back.
Camp, October 18th. Elite Camp.
Yes.
We want players. We got a lot of players that's committed to coming. Just want to make sure we put that out there because got to have players perform. I'm proud to say we have 4 guys on our roster that have attended our camps, man. Well, Coach White, Coach Stark, Coach Aaliyah. We're doing an awesome job, helping not only our current student athletes, but future, Albany State Golden Ram student athletes. So make sure you go on our Instagram page, ASU Men's Basketball MB, to make sure that you sign up for our Elite Camp.
You heard it from Coach Gayle himself is to go to Elite Camp. We'll sign up for it right now. So for Coach, it's JR. We out.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z. Sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews. You name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to The Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4th of July sale and get 30% off paints and stains June 27th through July 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.